All right, let's talk about something that trips up just about everyone in the modern workplace: politeness. Seriously, what one person sees as totally respectful, someone else might see as stiff and old-fashioned. And what you think is just being friendly, someone else might see as, well, kind of rude. So where's the line?
I mean, this is the big question, right? Is a formal, "Dear Sir," the gold standard of professional respect? Or does a casual, "Hey John," actually build a better, more genuine connection? The really tricky part is that the right answer totally depends on who you ask. And that, right there, is where the generational fireworks begin.
So, to really get into this, we're going to frame it as a little debate. On one side, we've got Formala. She's all about tradition, structure, doing things the right way. And on the other side, we have Off. He's arguing for sincerity and keeping it real above all else. Let's hear from Team Formality first.
So first up is Forma, and she's making the case for Team Formality. See, for her, politeness is like our professional safety net. She argues that without these established rules of etiquette, proper greetings, using titles, we're not just being casual. We're opening the door to chaos and, honestly, a lot of unintentional disrespect.
For Forma, this isn't just about being stuffy or old-fashioned, it is a practical safety measure. I love this quote from her. Etiquette is insurance against misinterpretation. It gets right to her core idea. It shows you're putting in effort, and it protects you from being seen as careless, especially when you're making that all-important first impression.
So why does this matter so much to her? Well, from this perspective, using a title like doctor or professor isn't about being old school. It's about directly acknowledging someone's hard-earned expertise. It's a universal signal that can prevent offense, especially across different cultures. And as Forma would argue, it can literally protect your own career from getting sidetracked by a bad first impression.
Okay, but that's just one side of the coin. Let's bring in Off, representing Team Authenticity. His whole argument is that for politeness to mean anything, it has to be sincere. He believes that all these overly formal rituals don't actually build respect, they just build walls, and they stifle the genuine connection that modern teams absolutely need to succeed.
And Off, he puts it pretty bluntly: politeness without authenticity is empty theater. From his point of view, it's that realness, that authenticity, that truly builds trust. Forced formality doesn't just feel robotic, it can actually send a pretty clear signal that you're intentionally keeping someone at a distance.
And you can see why this perspective is really gaining ground. For a lot of younger professionals, respect isn't automatic. It has to be earned, and it has to go both ways. They value a sense of equality over just blindly deferring to a title. This approach, well, it builds trust a lot faster. And frankly, it just makes more sense with how we communicate now on platforms like Slack, where a "Dear Sir" would feel completely bizarre.
Okay, so you've got these two totally different philosophies. One that really values structure and tradition, and another that champions sincerity and connection. Now let's see what happens when these two worlds actually collide in some everyday workplace situations.
Let's just take a simple email greeting. It's wild, right? The exact same word, "hey," can be interpreted in completely opposite ways. To someone on Team Authenticity, it's efficient, it's friendly, it's normal. But to someone on Team Formality, it can come across as careless, maybe even unprofessional. The potential for miscommunication here is just massive.
And this stuff happens all the time. An intern fires off an email to the CEO saying, "Hey, John," thinking they're just being modern and approachable. But from a formal perspective, they could be taking a huge career risk. On the flip side, you've got a manager who insists everyone call her Mrs. Johnson. She might think she's just keeping things professional, but she could be building a wall that tells her team, "Hey, we are not equals, and we never will be."
And this brings us to what is maybe the most important role in this whole game. Context is king. There is no single universal rule for politeness. What's considered totally standard and respectful in a very formal hierarchical culture, like in Tokyo, can feel incredibly stiff and cold in a more flat, informal culture like you might find in Stockholm. And that context isn't just about where you are in the world, it's also digital. The platform you're on completely changes the rules of the game. The kind of formal language you might use in an official email would just read as bizarrely awkward and totally out of touch in a fast-moving Slack channel. Okay, so we get it. The problem is real, the rules are confusing, and they're always changing. So how do we actually navigate all this? Let's shift away from the debate and get into a practical playbook that anyone can use to avoid these common traps.
So here it is. It's a pretty simple 4-step playbook. Number 1, when in doubt, default up.
start a little more formal. It's always, always easier to get more casual later than it is to recover from being too casual up front. 2, mirror back. Just pay attention to how the other person communicates and match their tone. 3, if you're still not sure, just ask. It's not weird to ask someone how they prefer to be addressed. And 4, always, always check the context. Think about the company culture, the platform you're on, and your relationship with the person.
And look, this isn't just theory. This was actually proven in a real case study of a team with multiple generations. The Gen X manager was adamant they send a very formal email to a new client. The Gen Z team member drafted a much more casual one. They debated, but eventually sent the casual version. And the result? The client loved it, said it felt way more authentic. Now, the lesson wasn't that casual is always better. The lesson was that the one-size-fits-all approach to how we talk to each other is officially dead. The most valuable skill now is adaptability.
So let's bring it back to our debaters one last time. In the end, Forma is right. Formal etiquette is a really powerful tool to show respect and honor tradition. And off is also right. Authentic connection is absolutely vital for building the trust and equality that modern teams need to thrive. The goal isn't to pick a side, it's to understand the value in both.
Which brings us to our final big question. What if this whole debate between formality and authenticity is the wrong debate entirely? Maybe the most valuable professional skill we can have today isn't choosing a side, but developing the social intelligence to know exactly when and how to flex between them. Thanks for tuning in.